So we're going to go back to 1998. We're going to look at WCW SuperBrawl VIII. This, to some degree, Pete, might be one of the more cursed events in wrestling history as well.
Right.
They had 2 matches where serious injuries took place. There were 2 matches that didn't end as they were supposed to end.
Right.
And there was one match as well that didn't even happen. That first match that didn't happen was Larry Zbyszko taking on Louis Spicolli. Spicoli had died of a drugs overdose 7 days before this event. He was, I think, only 5 days after his 27th birthday. And he was, at the time, doing an angle where he was Scott Hall's lackey. And it's amazing how in 1998 they were so keen on pushing Larry Zbyszko. This would have been Zbyszko's 3rd or 4th pay-per-view match in a row had Louis Spicolli not expired. They had a thing where Spicoli had stolen Larry Zbyszko's golf clubs and he'd broken them.
Of course,
and that was the reason.
That's his. Because he's an older-looking man. He's an older man, and he likes golf, and that's the thing.
I love that thing of just, you'd say to Zbyszko, who's probably 58, 59, and you'd say to him, what would be the one thing that like Louis Spicoli could do that would really him just go, my golf clubs. Don't let him touch my golf clubs. And it's like, oh, all right, we thought you were going to say, he could do something about your wife.
Yeah.
No, just my precious golf. These are Arnold Palmer and tightly
If you go near my beef beer fridge in the garage, if you go near my Viagra, if you go like really old man stuff.
This is a punk who wouldn't even recognise a carbon shaft if it went up his ass. Silence from the crowd.
I'm Pete Donaldson, and I'm here to tell you all about our brand new partner, Hawley. If you've listened to any of our podcasts, any of our shows in the last couple of years, you'll know that I am a relatively new father, and I'm a co-host on like a billion podcasts. I'm short on time, I'm even shorter on energy, and you know what it's like. The football's on in the middle of the night, the wrestling's on at the middle of the night. It never ends. It never ends. I come into the office drinking one of those horrible kind of aluminium caffeine monstrosity energy drinks, and I can see, the people I work with, they're grimacing. They're going, oh, that's a bit rough, Pete. It's a bit early for that sort of behaviour. And it is. They're not good. I'm wired for like an hour, and then the sugar crash comes, and then the caffeine crash comes, and then I'm not a nice person to be around, quite frankly. So I'm very happy to tell you all about Hawley, who provide great taste with a clear conscience. Hawley Energy doesn't hit you over the head and then disappear like a dad going to the shops for smokes and never coming back. It's smoother, it's more polite, it's got zero sugar, zero taurine, and with new calf for longer lasting focus. 100% taste, zero bullshit. It's an energy drink revolution. I heartily recommend the Starter Set Deluxe. You get to try Hawley Energy, Iced Tea, Hawley Hydration, and Hawley Milkshake. Use code WrestleMe for 10% off everything on the site. That's WrestleMe. Click the link in the description right now, or use this QR code. Use this QR code. Pause the video for crying out loud. Either way, remember to use our code WrestleMe for 10% off. I promise you, you will not regret it.
But yeah, Spicoli, unfortunately, he'd had drug issues in the past and made a really, really concerted effort to clean up when he'd signed with WCW in '97.
Yeah.
And I think he'd got the news that his mother had got cancer and it was not going well. And he'd had a relapse and he choked on his vomit during his sleep after taking a combination of soma and wine. A sad end. Louis Spicoli was on the up, very popular guy, and just seemed one of those guys who wasn't conventionally a wrestler. He was sort of tubby and small, and he had a slightly anonymous pig face, but he did genuinely seem to love wrestling more than anything else, and those guys are worth their weight in gold. So very sad. He was another in a long line of people really from 97 until easily 2004, where people were just dying young, and a sad sort of he's remembered really as being a member of that group than he is for anything he did in the ring, which is a shame. He was a good hand. 22nd of February, 1998, at the Cow Palace in San Francisco.
Cow Palace.
It's a beautiful name, isn't it, the Cow Palace? Literally built as a weird joke about the fact that there had been a newspaper report in 1935 about... They'd had a thing called the Panama Pacific International Exposition in San Francisco, and they had a livestock pavilion to show off cows, big cows. And the local paper had said, why, when people are starving, should money be spent on a palace for cows? So in the headline, it actually said Cow Palace.
Right,
and for some reason, when they built the stadium, they were like, hey, remember that thing about starving people? And why don't we call it the Cow Palace? And
to sort of revel in our fabulousness.
Yes.
Revel in our devil may care, I don't care about homeless people.
It's a bizarre decision that you wouldn't say, well, why don't we call it the San Francisco Auditorium?
Yeah.
That would be
No.
20 years ago, a guy said Cow Palace. We're calling it Cow Palace.
I want to make whichever international rock star is going to come and do their, life-affirming tracks. I want everyone to know that they're in a cow palace. Like it's just kind of like Ed Sheeran at the Cow Palace.
Yeah. Well, it does have actually quite significant things. So the explosion of the starship USS Reliant in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, that was filmed inside the Cow Palace's auditorium. They did that.
It's like a big TV studio, isn't it? It's like the one you'd sort of see in Los Angeles.
Yes, and it's had wrestling for years and years and years.
Right.
It used to be the sort of main basis of the big shows done by the promoter Roy Shire. And Roy Shire used, from the early 60s until about 1981, his key pieces of talent there were Ray Stevens and Pat Patterson, the Blonde Bombers. And they were an astonishing tag team and also astonishing individually. So they used to run an annual Big Battle Royal, which was basically the forerunner of the Royal Rumble. It's where Pat Patterson, who came up with the Royal Rumble when he was in WWF. It's where he basically learned all of the little bits and bobs that made a battle royal work.
Right.
And so it's a key sort of wrestling area. SuperBrawl 97, 98 and 2000 all came from there. WWE's biggest show was No Way Out in 2004. And since then, there's been a couple of Dynamites and Rampages for AEW. So it is still very much up and going and hosting wrestling. This one opens up with they were not good at the openings, WCW. And this has got a sort of weird voiceover that sounds a bit like a space captain recording his final will and testament. It's really, the dark comes in.
Now, the battle continues. Out of an army of shadows, the purveyor of good enters the ring once again. To vindicate a wrong that must be right. A man with hatred in his heart seeks to destroy this vindicator from the sky. But can he do so without ruining all that surrounds him?
And it's all black and white, and I know that's NWO, but it's the antithesis of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the subtitle is SuperBrawl VIII, Rematch of the Decade, or whatever it is. And it should very much be, we just need to tie some loose ends up, because we have been playing fast and loose with everything.
Yeah. Really early on, Mike Tenay on the commentary, he says, tonight is going to answer so many questions we have. And it's like, yeah, but we only have those questions because you got it so wrong last time. It's not like this is doing us a favour. This is, you've made this problem and now you're like, well, we'll try and backpedal through this. There is always, with these WCW things, that the action in the ring is so good.
Yeah.
And the production, if you took out the matches and forget they were there, the production is so poor. It's really sort of like badly judged and it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
And you slightly lose it because the action is so good and everyone is so fun. But taken by itself, you can see why they were always, going to go out of business in 2001.
You sort of look at Bischoff at times. Obviously, his big thing was NWO. And watching his reaction to talking about Tony Khan's AEW at the moment, while watching what he was putting out back here.
Totally.
You're going...
Totally.
And he's not even sort of saying it like a cautionary tale. He's going, look, if you're an internet kind of dirt sheet reading indie wrestling lover, fine, run your company like that. But you're not. Like, you're supposed to be going for the big money. And I'm like, oh, mate, like, you were absolutely tanking your company here.
100%. And, so much of their stuff is bad. What he always comes back to is, I had the NWO and that was massive. And you go, yeah, but you came up with 1,000 ideas.
Yeah.
And one of them, which you stole from Japan, was good.
And also it fits into the kind of men you were signing, just problematic babies who won't
absolutely.
work.
Who he took the absolute coward's way out of becoming really good friends with and then thinking it was great that they were ruining everything.
Exactly.
Just, if you're a boss, you cannot be friends with your employees. Right?
No. Be enemies.
Be enemies. I also, as an employee, do not want to be friends with a boss.
No.
I don't
the dynamic
want to be
is
that.
I don't want awkward barbecues. I don't want anything like that.
No,
I want to be left alone and I want to go home at 5, please.
If you're a boss, listen to this. You won't be, because bosses they're enemies of culture. But if you're a boss and listen to this, leave your employees alone.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone.
They don't want to go for a drink with you. I promise you.
I'm not a benevolent dictator. I'm your benevolent boss.
He choked the words right out of
Next
him.
week right here, you want Flair to wrestle again?
It's La Parka versus Disco Inferno, Mark.
Oh, the Lord gives with one hand and takes with another, doesn't he?
It's a dance-off. It's a disco dance-off.
It really is. I mean, I looked at Disco Inferno. Why do I dislike Disco Inferno so much?
Friend of the show.
There's a growing YouTube channel called Wrestle Me, where these English guy makes these wrestling documentaries. It's pretty great stuff.
Friend of the show, Mark.
Well, exactly. I don't particularly like the character, and
Right.
I was trying to work out why, and I think it's
not a good
because
character. Nobody wants it. Nobody needs it. No.
Nobody does need it. And
No.
I looked back and I was like, why have I... Disco Inferno. And I know there's the Tramps disco song, which
Yeah.
is Disco Inferno.
Yeah.
But the other thing that it seemed to like... do you remember that period where they would burn disco records at sports games?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So I had a quick look at that. In 1979, there was a great big promotional stunt by a Chicago DJ who was called Steve Dahl. And if you see Steve Dahl, he looks like a cross between really bad men. He looks like a cross
He's got a bit of everyone.
There's Jonathan King, there's
Yeah.
Dennis Nielsen, there's Jeffrey Dahmer, and there's
He's
also
all
Stephen
together.
King. Stephen King, not terrible, but bad looking. And he had done a stunt in cooperation with the White Sox baseball team, where they would give cheap tickets to fans who came along at halftime, gave in disco records, and they would then be blown up in the centre of the sports field.
Yeah.
And this was done because the White Sox were struggling to get people to watch the game, so this was a great big promotional stunt that they came up with. And it totally backfired insofar as most people turned up not to watch the baseball, but to see the disco explosion.
That's right,
And
yes. I remember
They
this
chanted throughout the first match that took place, disco sucks, again and again and again. And in the midway point, the DJ Steve Dahl detonated a dumpster full of these records. Shattered vinyl went 200 feet up into the air, and more than 5,000 fans then took that as a cue to storm the field and begin lighting bonfires and stealing everything they could. And they had to be dispersed by riot police, and the second game, the White Sox had planned afterwards, was cancelled. Even worse, this was all being televised live.
Nice.
So it was
Like that.
a national scandal.
Big fan of that.
Yeah. Now, the disco thing echoed, I think, something they'd done before, which was the burning of Beatles music, which had been done by the Christian right. And the thing about the disco thing is it had a sort of unpleasant connotation running underneath it. So Rolling Stone had talked about this in 79, and they said that white males 18 to 34 are the most likely to see disco as the product of homosexuals, blacks, and Latins, and therefore they're most likely to respond to appeals to wipe out such threats to their security. Now, in fairness, Steve Dahl, the DJ, did say it wasn't a bigoted act. He said the event was just a moment in time, not racist, not anti-gay, just kids pissing on a musical genre, he said in his autobiography. But at the time, he did call disco effeminate and said that rock and roll was threatened as a species. So an early bit of culture war, really.
Yeah.
Nile Rodgers of Chic, he actually said, it felt to us like a Nazi book burning. And that's what Disco Inferno makes me think of. It's not silly like the Honky Tonk Man, where he seems to have had a head injury and thinks he's Elvis Presley. Yeah. The Disco Inferno thing, I don't know, it's mocking disco. You were supposed to go, yeah, disco is shit, isn't it? And the problem with that as well, the gimmick is supposed to irritate. It's supposed to annoy you. I don't need to be irritated or annoyed. I'm always irritated or annoyed.
That doesn't need to be the reason why you're there. Do you know?
No, not at all.
Okay. And the thing with this match as well, Mexican stars, they just do not come across with this crowd at this time, even though they're much better than everything else.
That's really true. And here you've got La Parka, who is, a dancing, overweight, good time Mexican skeleton. And everything that conservative white America tells you to watch out for. It would shake Nancy Reagan to her core to see La Parka, wouldn't it? I mean, it really would. Jumping out of a bush at the White House. But La Parka is so charismatic. I mean, he does make some weird decisions in this match, and one of them is to put on a rear chin lock on Disco Inferno that lasts for about 2 minutes. And I wondered if that was punishing the crowd. I couldn't quite tell, or whether it was just he felt like he couldn't do much with Disco at that point. But this is not by any means a bad match. Disco is not bad in it at the times when he's giving his offence out. And I mean, I will always resent it because, I hate seeing La Parka not basically be treated as a main event. I look at this and I think, if they'd have just done a run with La Parka where they'd have gone, do you know what we're going to do? We're just going to have you be silly and you're going to be dancing and you're going to be standing on your chair and you're going to be marching around like a little drummer boy. You do all that, and what we're going to do is we're going to give you a pay-per-view main event for the world title, and everyone will say, isn't this stupid? Look what they're doing. This is crazy. And I just want you to turn up and go, okay, the fun and games are over, and now I'm going to kill you. And just be insanely violent. And to miss out on having a La Parka run near the top is a great tragedy of our time. And
Absolute
so to see him losing matches to Disco Inferno, it does make me sad. Maybe Disco isn't bad. Maybe it's just there were so many other people around and he got a push at a time when it's difficult historically not to look back and go, they should have been pushing everyone he was facing over him.
I mean, he's clearly influential since the Chartbuster movie's version of the Stone Cold Stunner. So in many ways, he's influenced a lot of people.
He's a divisive character, isn't he? But I do think there is something about... He could have had much, much better career had he not been so pushed out of the gate in a gimmick that was irritating.
Yeah.
Had he been, battered for 3 years, maybe he'd have found his feet.
His level of humour was very much irritating people and pranks and stuff like that. I think with this, it is just like, all right, fine, it's your idea of humour that we're just being pranked, aren't we? We're just being assaulted with a stupid prank.
You didn't want that, and that means we've got a reaction
we
out
win,
of you, which is what wrestling's all about.
Have you won? I'll just wait for something else.
Yeah, you just make me go, oh, that was a fucking waste.
Yeah.
Got you. Triggered. I just didn't think it was very good. Being annoyed is not as valid as being thrilled.
No.
But, that's the thing. I think hamstrung Disco over the years, that he got reactions, but those reactions are not the ones that, if you like, are the reactions that you want to have as a wrestling fan.
Yeah, and they tried again with Fandango and it didn't work.
Very much so. Very much so. Again, another character that I see as being as bad as the Nazis burning books.
Pete Donaldson here from Wrestle Me.
And Mark Haynes here from Wrestle Me. The big question is...
YouTube! You're on the YouTube! You're on the YouTube! Well
You're
done,
loving
Pete,
it.
choosing the
You're
YouTube
loving
for crying
it.
out loud. Oh.
We really do appreciate it, but we
Yes.
want you to enjoy it even more. And the best way to do that is to go to patreon.com/WrestleMe. There's so much stuff there. You're going to be sick in your hands.
Exactly. YouTube has a terrible proclivity for removing our videos, giving us no fair warning, and, stopping you guys from watching the good stuff that Banya, myself and Mark are putting together every single bloody week. So head on over to patreon.com/WrestleMe, where you can see all of that kind of muck, unbowdlerized, unremoved, and up there in beautiful Technicolor. We've also got a newsletter and a weekly podcast as well, where we basically just do this without the visuals. But come on over, there's Discord and everything. You can take your top off and send pictures of yourself.
We encourage it. So what you going to do when you go onto Patreon? It's the whole
Go to Patreon.
thing.